Okay, I think I'm recording now. Let me see. Yes, I'm recording. Okay, let me just like put it again. Sorry about that. So welcome to get ready for your professional paper. I will just like discuss some like maybe 3 slides for the new students that are in the first year, because there's like some of you that are here, and then I will move on to talk about more of the details for the second year students. And then obviously if you're a first year student, you will get a better idea what you have to do next year. So again, for the first year students, you have to write a professional paper. It could also be a thesis based or a comprehensive exam. Here in the handbook, it says professional paper, but some students do thesis, and basically it's the same process. The reason I said that is because some of you might be interested in more like academic work. You want to do a PhD, so you might be interested in doing a thesis. You can still do a professional paper and then do a PhD as well. It's just like we call it professional paper, but in reality, when you go to the graduate college, they just call it thesis, or it has like different names, so it really doesn't matter for those purposes. I had that question before. And then for the first year students, you could replace these for a comprehensive exam. So we have been talking in class how we have been practicing for the IACP, and then until now we have not done that because that has not been like such a big emphasis. But now, if you're interested in that, and some of you have talked to me about it, you could do this instead. And then there's also some other questions that we might ask that are more about like planning values and essays. So it will be kind of like slightly different than the ICP, but pretty much like this is just an addition to it. So if you're interested in that, just like let me know early enough. And then so this is like just like 2 credits. And then for the professional paper, you do register with a faculty that is not myself. So maybe if you're interested in comprehensive exam, you can register with me, but for the other one, you have a faculty advisor, and you for the first year you were assigned to a faculty advisor. You can find somebody else because that assignment was just kind of based on your initial thoughts, like if you wanted to do transportation or community planning. And sometimes we just match you with someone that was available. So again, you need to find an advisor for your professional paper and form a committee. And then the professional paper should be in your emphasis area. So that's why it's important that you choose, if you're doing transportation, you pick an advisor that perhaps is doing that. It's not like an absolute requirement, but that's what is recommended. And also like there will be a talk later about internships. It's also a good idea that you keep on that track, right? Like if you're doing an internship and you're in housing, then picking an internship in housing is important. But these are more like things that I said in terms of like what are good things to do, right? It doesn't mean that if you find something else or or even in the emphasis areas is such a huge problem, because sometimes there's overlapping things, right? It could be housing and transportation in your paper, right? Even though you might have emphasis area that maybe is housing, right? If it's a certificate, that's like very important that your paper is on that certificate, right? So if some of you are doing something related to GIS, then it should be related to that and so on. If you have questions, just like ask. And then so for the first year, like milestones, like the students, like in the first semester, you should have, have a, of course, talk to me, talk to your the faculty member that you were assigned, just to get a better idea of like what's going to be your emphasis area. And now this semester, you need to keep going with those conversations. And it's a good opportunity, like if the person that it was assigned to you, you find someone that is a better fit for your professional paper, you can do that. Because again, this what we did of like giving you an advisor is not something with the graduate college. It's just more like we made a matching internally. For this, you actually need to fill out paperwork with the graduate college saying, this is my advisor. These are my the people in my committee, right? So this is kind of like a formal relationship that you have. They're the ones that will grade you at the end, and you can change them. And there's like obviously deadlines for that. We will not get into that, but there's at some point you might not be, you might get a replacement or something like that. But what I'm saying that this relationship is more official. And so this semester, at the end of the semester, usually like in April, I will ask you about a possible title for your professional paper, to prepare an abstract, and possible advisors and committee members. Why? Because you will go now in the summer, you have the opportunity of doing an internship and getting more work done in the summer for your professional paper. It's good to have to start early to think about this and not leave it to the very last month, right? So, or the last semester. So that's why we're doing this. It's not like an official thing with the graduate college, but something that you do for me. And there's a spreadsheet, and I would just like post that in a minute. It's also in the links that I sent. And then you also need to submit a degree plan for the graduate and professional school using DPSS. And there's a link, not in this image, but there's a link that is actually in the handbook that you can find, or you can type DPSS, at TAMU. So again, this is just saying like what are the classes that you're going to be taking in the future. And then if you're an international student, you need to do this degree plan before your summer internship. So you need to do it basically by the end of the semester and before the summer semester. If you're a domestic student, you still have a little bit more time. So you can do it in your second semester, or even if you do it like in January, that semester before you graduate, you still have time to do that. So again, and this is like a time to also say, if you're doing a certificate, just kind of adding the courses for those things, right? And you should, there's a separate application for the certificate. We have talked about that. But if you have like, again, questions, just like make an appointment with me or with Tina. And this is kind of like just again, those like milestones. So I'm gonna stop there because the next slides are actually for the second year students. So I'm gonna stop this share. I will share the links and see if there's any questions or any additional thoughts for the first year students. And Tina, feel free to like also add any additional information.
Okay, I just want to make sure, like, before you present your professional paper, I just do the admin side of it. So make sure that your degree plan's in order, you have all your hours that you said you have, that you're going to take, and we don't need to do any corrections. And make sure that you fill out the ARCS final exam request 10 days prior to presenting. It needs to be over to the grad school by then. So, and it has a little bit of an approval process. So just make sure you get all of that done. If you need help looking at your degree plan, I can help you with it.
Right. And this is, I'm just gonna post here the sheet where to keep track of like the title, abstract, um, committee, and so on. So you can see also for the first year students, you can see what other students have done like in the past. There's in that list, there's also um, some recommended external reviewers. So these are, you need like someone from from our department, and they could be also like two people, and like having a co-advisor. I mean, you need two people from the department, but one of them could be, they could be co-advisors, so they could be advisor, but you need an external reviewer. In that sheet, there's like information about people who know us, who have served as external reviewers. So it's more like usual suspects, right? And then basically, like when you go to your sheet, you can put what is like your emphasis area, proposed topic. You can find the faculty in these like links that are here, and then for the extra faculty, or sometimes there's people that work for us, but there might be adjuncts. So maybe if you're not sure if they are qualified to serve for your committee, you can search in here by like name and then last name and departments. And again, if you need like ideas about like who could be in your committee, you need to talk to that advisor that you choose. I think that they're the person who can help you because they will know about the topic and all that. Okay, so if there's like no more questions about for the, well, like give me a minute for to see if there's any questions for the first year students. We already did a presentation about this as well last semester. I just want to make sure, because sometimes you start thinking about them some other semester. Okay, so I see no questions. Maybe I can just like move on then. Um, okay. So for the second year students, and again, for those in the first year, this is what you should expect for next year as well. So last year it was like, we just like are keeping the same model. Again, I'm only have been the master's program coordinator for a little bit. So this is like basically the second year that I am doing this. So we chose like some dates, and we chose like Thursday. It's actually Wednesday to Friday, but the Wednesday is like a private talk. And then so these days, and Athena very kindly like reserved like rooms like 302 and 305. Those rooms are small. So again, usually for these things, like when we said like it's public, it means that some professors will go and some students will go. Very few, maybe you can expect. I think that the most people I saw in some of those presentations were like 6 people. So that's what we mean by public. You can invite whoever you want. Even if it's private, you can still invite whoever you want, right? But the public thing is like we just basically will send an announcement to students and faculty to say, hey, you're welcome to come. And again, I don't think that the graduate college announces anything or does anything. It's just kind of like some paperwork for them to say it's like public or not. But we just announce it for our own students and faculty. And that's it. Oh, I think that I did also invite people from the Plan Pack, but last year nobody came. Most of the people from the Plan Pack are not local. Obviously, there's a Zoom option as well. And in the plan pack, we might have like 20 people across the state that are professional alumni, mostly that are kind of like distinguished in their fields. We'll have some small refreshments, some cookies, maybe something else, but it's just like to keep you going. So you have only 33 days to finish this from today if we start on that Wednesday. So basically, 5 weekends to get this done. A spring break should help, assuming that you don't have tons of work for other classes. So there's like a sheet that I sent. Maybe I will just go to that sheet because I feel and get out of the PowerPoint here for a minute. I think that everybody has looked at that sheet, and that sheet is a kind of like a work in progress, because some of the talks are still trying to be done. Okay, so I put like the link to that here. So here we have again just the dates. As you can see, for example, you have like Kate's presentation, and then she put that this presentation is private, right? And not open to guests. So good that you put it on this paper, because again, from these, we will have like print some of these and put them in the tables so people know what's going on. In the rooms, I will have like in the 302 and 303, just like a paper that you can with tape. It says like open to the public or not open to the public, right? And then for those that are open to the public, we will just announce those, and people from our department, faculty and students can come. And then so if you again have like conflicts, so you need to try to talk to your own. I will say, some of you, I feel that your advisor is the one kind of leading and just like making sure that people can do it. But I have seen no student doing that. But again, like if your advisor is not taking leadership, and again, it's not really the role either. It's like anyone can take leadership, you or your advisor. Just kind of like finding the time and just like make some suggestions for some of you that have trouble. And then if you cannot do it any of these days, you can do them any other day. So Tina can help you to just like book another date and in another room. I just want to kind of like keep track that everybody is like accounted for, and then just like put it here. So again, for those of you that there's like that are public meetings, we will have the Zoom registration link. And then that's kind of like my Zoom. I will have like 2 computers in there that you can use. You obviously can bring your own. Students have done that also. And then just log in the Zoom link. Either way, I just like do that to, again, have at least the computer just in case. And then again, we have several dates until now. If you don't have a time just yet, it seems like Friday after 1 p.m. is available. So if you want to do that, you can just like indicate it here or email me. So that's it for the presentations. Something else that I sent you guys is that there's like a Tina like also reserved for us like the Adams room from like 2 to 6, but really like from 4, because like I think that the last presentation, and maybe that might not be the case anymore. The last presentation is at 3. So having like just a small reception and putting like posters or other work. It doesn't have to be about your own the paper that you're presenting. So I think that maybe that puts a pressure in students, like if they're like already doing this and then having to do a poster. But the idea is like you can put posters of like all the things that you have done. Many of you have done things for courses. There's also the for APA, the what ASP did. So the idea is kind of just more, kind of showcase your work. So I put like here a link. I can copy this. And then you can say, if you want to present, you don't have to, right? And if it's like something from a research project, maybe it's with a team or something that it was like with a group. I also talk to like TTC and see that they have like some of your posters and things like that. The idea is just like, to come together and do like some sort of closure for you defending. Last year we didn't do this, and students were like it felt kind of like anticlimactic, and that the people didn't know what they were doing. So the idea would be just to invite people in the, in our department, just like to stop by, and then we can actually just send it also to landscape architecture, right? So our departments, so they can go. And then I also had, and I don't have anything in here, I just put like a link in there to just have like, some pictures of you. I have a lot of pictures of you, but I haven't added any of those, but we can just have in the projector some pictures. And then everybody at the end could have this compilation of like pictures in a slideshow. Okay, so let me just like keep going with like some of the most important things, which is the timeline. So you need to run a degree audit to make sure that everything is correct. And the contact for that is Tina. Tina, do you have anything to say about this in particular, the degree audit?
No, I mean, I can run one for you. I can help you fix your degree plan if you have the extra hours. Like, we just need to look at it. But if you run it and everything's green check marks, you're good to go.
Perfect. And then the other thing that you need to do is submit the final request to ARC system, which is what Tina was saying, using Howdy. And then there's a link for that. Okay. I'm just trying to copy and put this. It's a little bit hard. Yeah. There's a link for that. And then it's 10 business days. So it's not 10 days. And again, this calculated will be about March 5th. So that's like coming up soon. And then I don't know if Tina, you have anything else to say about this one, the ARC system.
No, I mean, it's not going to let you submit the final exam request unless your degree plan's right, your GPA is above a 3.0, and you have everything else completed.
Excellent. And then so the last day, because again, this is like, if you're following this timeline, if some of you need to do the presentations before, you can do your own thing. This is kind of like the suggested thing. And I put it here. Basically, it's like, this is kind of crunch time because we are thinking, okay, you're going to use spring break to get a lot of it done, right? Or like edited and so on. Hopefully you already like have a lot of it. But I know that time will help. So then on Monday, you can submit it to your faculty. And then you don't have to submit it to, at this point, to me or to anyone else. I just kind of like send a reminder, of like submit this to your faculty. There's like some guidelines that are available from the graduate college, and again, there's a link for that. They have templates And what I have saw in the past is that students also use, besides these templates, they use Canva to do it. And people in the graduate college didn't seem to be upset. But in other places, and also depending on who looks at it, they might be like, no, you have to do it in the template. So at least I saw that the other students didn't do it in the template. It was fine. But I know that it could occur. I don't know if Tina, you ever have heard about that, like them complaining about the template,
Of what?
the papers.
Oh, no, no one complains to me about it. I have no control over that.
Yeah. All right. So I think that we should be good. And then yeah, so okay, so you're sending it to the faculty, right? And to everybody in your committee. But a day before you actually defend, you need to know if this is like defensible, right? Because again, it's like I don't know how many of you have been sharing already with your faculty, but it could be that Monday they get something and this is not good enough. You have to do a lot more work. You won't be able to defend. That, I only have done this 1 year, so I haven't seen that happen. But it could happen. So just like make sure that is defendable, because like the worst thing is like, getting there and then them being unhappy or something, right? So that's something that you can ask, right? Is this, and I will send emails about that, but it should be something, again, that they're going to think that is defendable. And then you're going to prepare a 15-minute presentation, and then just kind of like upload it there's a link to upload like all the PowerPoints. Actually, you can see the PowerPoints from last year students as well. These things are only collecting for you guys. I'm not like sharing this like with like anyone. And then just put your kind of like last name and then just professional paper. I think that if you go in there, most of people didn't do that. So it's a little bit messy. And then, the defenses again are like, we have until now from the 19th to the 22nd. Again, just, take pictures, put them in Aggie Urban Planners. That's my only reminder. The important thing is like, after you defend, you probably will be asked to do revisions. Like every single student that I have seen so far, they ask for something. The revisions, they have to be doable. So the advisor needs to know that you can do this in 7 years. So the 7 days, sorry, not 7 years. So they have to kind of like narrow that, right? It cannot be that they ask you to do all this much, knowing that it's only 7 days. In that case, that would be like basically a no pass, right? But you have 7 days after you defend, and then you need to submit to the graduate college. So the information is there. There's a link for that. I will also like to have your paper so you can upload it to the MOP. It's just kind of MOP program just for internal purposes. And something I'm doing new this year is that I talked to the library because architecture already does this, like all the professional papers, you can actually like find them online, and they have like a very nice library. I think that is very important for us, to share things for the public, given that, we're public servants, and a lot of the things that we do is work with community. So a lot of demographic data, a lot of like cool stuff that people could use, including other students or even municipalities. But for that, they do ask for, it has to be like you are giving permission to the university because it's kind of like a public thing. So you can just complete a form and you can see the digital depository where they will put it. until now, there's nothing from our department. So it'll be nice to just start building this over time. And then so for the at the defense, so obviously dress appropriately, business casual. The schedule is going to be like 5-minute introduction, right? That's something that your advisor will do. So everybody, maybe, you know, there's some faculty members that they don't know themselves. It's the first time that they see each other. Or maybe there might be some guests and they might want to say, hey, I'm a student here, or I actually was a supervisor and so was a student, whatever that might be. And then you have your 15-minute presentation. For those of you that have been in the second year, you have this big clock. We will have some of those there. Again, it's very important that you practice. That's why also we have like a practice. I will show you, we'll go back to that flyer. I cannot quite remember, but I asked Windia to organize like a practice for you guys. And also you can do your own practice, but it's important to keep on time. Then you will have 15 minutes feedback to the students. So that means like your the people, their committee will give you feedback. Sometimes I have seen that professors open it up to others. And that's okay as long as it's like 15 minutes. What I have seen a lot is like if they do that, and sometimes they just, I have to remind faculty to keep on time, because I think that many faculty do like to talk more than 15 minutes. I'll be there, so I will also be like, you know, paying attention to what's like going on. And then the way the committee has they will basically, you will step out of the room, they will have a discussion and just kind of write down where are the things that you have to change. And again, I highly encourage them to do something that is like limited, that you can do in 7 days, taking that you also are taking classes or working and all those things. And then you will have some final feedback of doing that. So I think I'm gonna stop there to see if there's like any questions so far before I continue. So that was a lot. And now I cannot even remember if I was sharing the file. Okay, so let me just like put this file again. I don't see that anybody was like looking at it. I'm sorry. I should have done that before. There's just my business casual is fine. That's a question for Melissa. Are there any other questions about this? Everything is outlined, you know, in that in here. That is the timeline, all the links are there. And then I'll send reminders. I know I send sometimes too many emails, but so I guess, you know, after the defense is kind of like a summary of what you have to do. The AI policy, you have to discuss with your advisor what you want to do. The university gives like liberty to the faculty to say no AI at all, or say yes, but acknowledge it. So if you haven't had that conversation, it's very important, because some faculty members do feel they strongly about not using it, and that's where you get into trouble, because then it's like plagiarism, right? And obviously, if you are taking any work and representing it as your own, that is plagiarism, right? So just like, again, just have that discussion with your advisor. Other discussions that are important with your advisor is like, if, for example, you have done something with them And I will say, for example, with, you know, like Wendy actually worked on a project with me. So just like having a discussion of like what would be appropriate to do. If, for example, some of you turn in some work for class, maybe it's like a transportation class, you did something, you want to use that for your professional paper. Again, there's like the general practice is that you cite yourself in that work, but there's some element that it could be plagiarism, right? Like if I have worked a lot on a similar topic, and this happens to professors also when they're trying to publish for things, you cannot, there's some limitations of how many times you can publish the same, you know, with the same data. Basically it should be like one, or it has to be substantially different to have like a second paper coming out of that. And then you cannot just copy and paste things literally you have done before. They are like online, people will see that it's like self-plagiarize, and why that journal will want to publish something that you already said somewhere else, right? So again, just go back to those ideas of plagiarism, have that conversation if that's the case. In terms of the evaluation, there's an online evaluation that the faculty complete. This is outside of your grade, so they're gonna grade you. It's like a pass-fail on this, so there's no grade. And then this is something for the planning accreditation board, but everybody has to do it. So basically it's like just the things that you're supposed to learn from the planning accreditation board: planning values, there's a whole bunch in there, planning knowledge. So kind of like demonstrating these things. But again, know that this is kind of more like a self-evaluation for the program to see how well we're doing. It could be that we notice that we're not doing so great in planning process and engagement or in analytical skills. It's not like you have to demonstrate that you hit all these points. Ideally you would, but something I have seen is that students try to do this in a very methodological way of like, this is how I made jaded values. And that's not what the professional paper should be, right? So it's not about conforming to this metric, it's about doing a good work, right? That is representative of what you learn. But know that you, again, are not graded on this metric. This is a self-evaluation for the program. Okay. So I think that I have talked about all the timeline already. I'll go back to the presentation here. So, and I skipped some of these because I went to the sheet instead. So there's this accountability group, if it might help you. It meets like Friday at like room 302 from 1 to 5. And then at 1 today, we have something about ICP, so maybe not at 1, maybe at 2 today. And I think only 2 students right now are part of this, which is like Willia and Faith. But again, I'm sure that the welcome other accountability group buddies if you want to just like be able to also have questions or discussions or show to someone what you have been up to. Kind of, it's just like, or saying to them, next week I want to do X, Y, and Z. I think that this helps a lot. And then you have the practice presentation. So they're March 19. So that's the Wednesday, from 1 to 5. And then I think that Windy is coordinating these in terms of like the times. And this again is like among yourself. So it's important that you also go and see other people and what they're up to. And so just contact her about that. I don't know if Windia, you have anything to say about this? I think that, oh, she has GIS class. So, where did she get? Oh yeah, I already talked about that. I've already talked about that. The last slide is just like to see if you have any questions. So let's see if there's any questions. Okay, I don't think that there's like any other questions. Then thank you so much. There's like another talk with Tina and I just in a little bit, and it's about internships. So for those of you, again, I guess that is just like janitor that you're in the next you could join us for the next one and see if other students would like to join us. Well, all right. Well, thank you and see you later.